I'm Paul Galata, Senior Technology Specialist with Mouser Electronics. Welcome to this episode of Plugged In. Today we're going to be discussing energy storage systems, or ESS. And with me I have a subject matter expert as my guest.
My name is Juan Chavez. I'm Business Development Manager for Amphenol Communication Systems.
Welcome to this episode of Plugged In. Thank you for joining me, Juan. Energy storage systems, or ESS, is what we're going to be talking about. They're taking over. It's really a way to collect energy. We have a need to go towards green, to move away from fossil fuels. But when we collect that electrical energy, we have to be able to store it so that we can dissipate it and send it on its way at a later time. Could you tell me a little bit about some of the trends that you think are making ESS such a big topic right now?
Oh, absolutely. Well, as the markets evolve and as we move away from fossil fuels to green energy like wind generated or solar or water generated, we definitely had to find ways to store the energy, right? So that's the nature of the ESS. Now, from our perspective, we're trying to help that out to make efficient use of that energy and condition it the right way so it's delivered to the households or to the commercial sides of it.
So you're really involved in being able to store and then send through all these different types of interconnections to its proper place at its proper time.
That is correct. And we actually divide it in two types. We divide it in types, which is commercial and residential. In terms of the needs, they have specific needs from one another that will help deliver the correct amount of it.
Well, let's tackle one of those areas then. Let's talk a little bit about the commercial area. What is it inside the commercial space when we look at city infrastructures or buildings and institutions that they're focused on and what they need to have a solid ESS solution?
Well, for that type of applications, you will be making sure you get reliable and robust connections. So it's a little different from others. In this case, reliability and robustness will come from this type of connectors, the density you may need, and the technology you may need to transfer that energy from the battery systems to the inverters to deliver on the device.
So I know that you have a variety of solutions in that area. Can we look at some of your solutions related to locking?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, our latest product offering on the market, which is being very successful, we call Microspace XS. Okay.
So it's really, really small with
That is
microspace?
correct. On a very small pitch, a 1.7 millimeter, we actually are capable to carry up to 4 amps per line, which is pretty good. Okay. And then we got specific features that make it super reliable, such as foolproof features that will not allow you to interconnect in the wrong way. We do have primary and secondary locking mechanisms, which make it extremely reliable up to an automotive level if needed.
Looks a little bit like a black widow spider there. What's that red?
You could call it that way. Actually, that red, it's actually what we call TPA, is in CPA. The TPA is a smaller little locking mechanism that will assure the terminals are locked into the right position. If you don't click them on the right position, the connector will just fall apart. So that assures every terminal is in the right spot, all right? Then the red one is what we call the CPA, is the connector position assurance. What that one does is when you put them together and snap them in the right position, it'll make sure it does actuate unless it is fully mated, right? That's a super double checking, let's say, or secondary way to assure the connection is fully made.
Excellent. So besides the microspace, I've heard of some products like FlexLock and WireLock. Could you share a little bit about what those are?
Absolutely, depending on the technology customers are utilizing. And actually, we have created some stuff that is very innovative on the market. So it all starts with higher density, which is our WireLock product.
There's wires all over the place.
Wires
That's high
all
density.
over the place. So that's high density little wires that come from one cell to another on a battery system. Okay, now part of what we are offering in the market is not only that with the same locking mechanisms, all right? Now we're offering something that will make actually cost and weight go lower with what we call FlexLock, all right? So now you also have an option to transition from discrete wires all the way down
I can see how that flex is way less weight and
Exactly.
simpler than all
It
those
would
wires.
save people a lot of wire management
Yep.
needs. So that's a tremendous advantage when you're talking about a bunch of different cells storing your energy to distribute, to monitor, to condition in order to deliver it to a device.
And those have the same type of connector position assurance on them with those red tabs as well.
Yes, sir. Same exact type of locking mechanisms. Actually, you got several different differentiators, such as we offer them different colors and locking codes. So you can actually not only do it on one end, you can do it on multiple ends, making sure the people is not going to connect them in the wrong position. And again, you're going to continue to have those red lock mechanisms to make sure it all clicks together.
Well, we've been talking about commercial, about how we have to have reliable connections, but you also mentioned robust. So I imagine things like ingress protection, being able to protect against harsh environmental elements that exposed to. What are you doing in that area?
Part of what we're offering is we're offering options. Depending on the customer's design, they can either do isolated from the environment themselves, and we got a lower cost version for it. But if the customer wants to do use it as an interface connection, we do have our own IP rated connectors. Okay.
What are some of the typical ratings of these?
The typical rating we will go to on these applications is up to IP68. All right. We're actually working on the next generation for IP69, which is not necessarily needed. But again, when you're talking about robustness,
you want to be able to go everywhere.
Exactly. You want it to go under space if you need to.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that's going to be the next generation. But as of now, we're going up to IP68.
Now, I understand also you don't just do solutions that are standard, but you also do custom solutions.
Oh, by all means. The first thing we're always going to offer to the customer is try to go quickly with something that can deliver what they need for a standard solution. And we create a wide variety of product options. However, at Amphenol, we're never shy to help them customize something. It actually is part of our nature, part of our life, and we're always willing to work with a customer in order to put something together that will fit exactly their needs.
Well, thank you. Juan, we've discussed the commercial. Let's kind of turn it now and move to that second point that you raised. Let's move it to the residential. So instead of at a big city or big institution, what happens when we move to our house? We might have solar panels on it or a wind turbine back on the farm, those type of things. What are some of the critical things that we have to look at when it becomes more personal?
Well, when it comes down to your house, you need also the reliability. However, you may not need as big of a density, and you need miniaturization, right? So we really tend to go very, very small on connectors on that end, still making them very cost effective.
And that's so that when we do things like smart meters inside of our house, right, it can fit on the wall and be nice and elegant so that my wife isn't upset that I have some type of big box.
Absolutely, yes. You don't want a big trailer box on the outside of the house to look at, yeah.
Could you share with us a little bit about some of the ways that you're making small, miniature, highly dense residential products?
Absolutely. Actually, we do have some great products in the market now. So when it comes to put two boards together, we do have hybrid connectors with power and signal terminations on it. So in a very small package, you're already saving space and saving the management of the customer to have to manage two different separate lines. So you get them together, and you can do it either on the board, the two boards together, or you can do it on a wired position, right? So if you need to wire connection to one part of the device to the other, you also have it such miniaturized. Now, as we shrink and shrink and shrink down to your thermostat or your remote control at the end of the day, you get the very smaller product lines, such as Minitech. That's part of the name of it, right? Is mini technology. So even though we have different sizes, the smallest one we do offer on the market today is 0.8 millimeter pitch. So it's really tiny little cables that will help you to fit on a very small device so nobody notices in the house.
Does having that reduction in size maybe help also with cost? Does that allow you to make things that are highly cost efficient for a consumer? Because, you know, I only got limited amount of money I can spend.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, as you go on, we have different techniques, we will say, to reduce cost ourselves. So we offer different platings, different sizes, different combinations. But at the end of the day, customers want to get something that is low cost, but still super reliable, that will fit all their needs. Yes.
So in residential, then, you're really working to make things smaller and more affordable for all the residential.
Without sacrificing the reliability of the product, which is the key thing for customers.
Excellent. Well, I want to ask you, do you have any final words that you'd like to share with our viewers about ESS and what Amphenol's doing?
Oh yeah, well, by all means, within Amphenol, we strive to support any interconnect needs you may have. So either standard or customized, we're never shy to help out with that. We have a saying within Amphenol is, if we don't have it, you don't need it, right? So when customers need something special, we're never shy again to try to put something special for them. But we believe in what we do is already special to start with, so it may be able to solve problems from the beginning.
That's excellent. I want to thank you, Juan, for joining me, and I want to thank you for participating in this episode. Please join us for our next episode of Plugged In.